Hi friends, I'm Yamini Sharma and I welcome you back to my channel, The Saffron Box. And today in this video, I'll be talking about the month of October 2023. What are the kind of planetary transits we see? What are the important events in the celestial sky? And how does this affect all of us? So I'll be talking about the transits and I'll be talking about the impact which it has on all the 12 rising signs going from Aries till Pisces. But do remember that you need to keep your rising sign in mind. So check in, plug in your birth data on any of the free apps which are available. You'll get the details about your rising sign or your ascendant or your lagna. So that is the Rashi, that is the sign which is the key to understanding the planetary transits, right? So that is what I'm going to be talking about. And of course, the promise in your natal chart, the relevant dashas have to be there before any transit gives you anything in the first place, right? So we'll go ahead with the month of October 2023. Let's see what are the planets doing this month. So we have Sun, which is going to be moving out of the sign of Virgo and moving into the next sign, that is Libra. And there is where Sun gets into its Neech Rashi or its sign of debilitation. So this month sees the debilitation of Sun, and we also see Mercury in its sign of exaltation. So Mercury stays in the sign of Virgo, which is its exaltation sign. Sun gets into debility. Venus is in the sign of Leo, and then thereafter we have Mars, Ketu, Sun and Mercury coming together in the sign of Libra, right? So this month we see a lot of power punch in the sign of Libra. So if Libra is your rising sign, or Libra is a very important sign in your horoscope, as in you have a lot of planets there, or the planet sitting there is running its dasha, or your moon sign is Libra, all these things, if it all qualifies for you, then this month will definitely bring in some major changes for you. Apart from this, we also see Rahu and Ketu changing their signs, right? So Rahu will be moving out of Pisces, out of Aries into Pisces, and Ketu will be moving out of Libra into the sign of Virgo. So that is again a significant transit on which I've already made a video. I've put in a link also in the description section if you haven't seen it yet. So these are the major events which we see, major transits which we see. And apart from that, we anyways have Jupiter in the sign of Aries. We have Saturn in the sign of Aquarius. So this entire month, this is the last month where Saturn stays in retrogression also, and thereafter Saturn will become direct in the month of November. So that is more or less the scene, with regard to the planets. So I'll talk about the signs first. I'll begin with the sign of Aries. So now if you have an Aries ascendant or Aries lagna, that means the sign of Libra is going to get a major, as I said, a major power punch by the second half of the month, right? Wherein your Lagnesh, that is Mars, also moves into the sign of Libra, and it will get conjunct with Ketu, with Mars. Sun will join in. So basically the focus for you is going to be a lot on business transactions, on relationships, on partnerships, right? So here a lot of people dealings, public dealings. Seventh house for you is anyways the sign of Libra falls in the seventh house for you, and it is anyways the sign of people opposite you, right? So people whom you interact with, people whom you deal with, people whom you partner with, you sign agreements with. Seventh house is the house of agreements, is the house of contracts, right? Marriage also comes within the realm of the seventh house. So here a lot of activity can be seen, especially in the second half of the month, where a lot of planetary energy is infused in, especially with a lot of malefic energy coming in over here. So we have Ketu, we have Mercury moving in here. Mercury is not a benefic planet for you. For the Aries Lagna, Mercury is a malefic. It owns the 3rd and the 6th house, so it is taken as a malefic only, and it comes into the Kendra, into the 7th house for you. So your communication, your impulsiveness, all these things can cause problems in relationships. That is something which you have to really guard against. Do not make haste and get into any deals, any agreements without reading thoroughly, without consulting the right people thoroughly. So you have to double check on what you read, what you write, where you sign. So all your paperwork, etc., should be definitely checked, and only then you go ahead with all these things. Those of you who have any issues related to relationships, etc., like you are in a relationship already, you want to go ahead and get married, then I think this is the time where you should not take any impulsive decision. You may come across some resistance from people around you, resistance from family, or resistance from the environment when it comes to actually stepping up into your relationship. So deal with the matters of the heart also with a lot of patience. So the key this month for you is patience. Avoid any impulse and be sure about what you're signing, what you're writing, etc. So paperwork has to be seen. Apart from that, this month seems to be good. The first half seems to be good. Those of you who are looking at writing exams, appearing in competitions, etc., stand a good chance, provided your natal chart also promises it. So there are good chances of beating through competition or going ahead, right? So overall a mixed month. The first half is kind of better, and the second half is something which you have to watch out for. That is for the Aries ascendant. Now moving ahead, if we look at the next ascendant of Taurus. So for Taurus, this month we see your Lagnesh, that is Venus, in the 4th house, the Suksthan, in the beginning of the month, and thereafter Venus moves ahead, stays in the 4th house, and you have a lot of concentration of energy in the 6th house, which is again a Venetian sign, which is again the sign of Libra, which your Lagnesh holds, right? So this month could start with a lot of important decisions with regard to education matters, because Mercury, your 2nd lord, your 5th lord, Mercury is a very important planet for you when it comes for education. Mercury is anyways the planet for education, for learning, also one of the planets. But apart from that, Mercury is getting exalted. So a lot of you who are looking at chances for higher education, you're looking at prospects of admission, etc., somewhere in where you want to go, the prospects are good, provided you've put in enough hard work also. That goes without saying. So education pursuits, etc., or those of you who are who deal with stocks, equity, where there's some amount of speculation involved, the first half could be good. So whatever matters you need to deal with, try to deal with all these matters in the first half of the month. Then thereafter, in the second half of the month, as I mentioned, we have a lot of concentration of energy in the 6th house. So Ketu will be there. Ketu is anyways there. Mars will join in, Sun will move in, Mercury will also be there. So we'll have 4 planets in your 6th house. So this brings in light onto the opposition factor, right? So 6th house is all those things which oppose us, all those things which try to resist growth in our life. So things which are not good for you, which you have to overcome basically. So those things, so whatever applies for you, it could be a disease, it could be an enemy, it could be opposition, it could be competition. So whatever applies to you, like for a student it might be dealing with a lot of competitive exams, cutting through competition. For somebody employed, it could be cutting through the clutter, cutting through the environment at work to rise. All right, for somebody who's not been keeping well, this could be a disease. Somebody who's in a legal hassle, this could be a legal suit. So anything which is not letting you grow, all these things are going to come up, and that is something which you'll have to manage, which you'll have to see, especially now with the Lagnesh, that is Venus itself, which is going to be here in a inimical sign. So you see Sun and Venus are going to be in an exchange also. So matters related to your property, matters related to your vehicle, all these things can also come up. Again, depends on what the promise of your birth chart says, but you have to be careful regarding these issues. So litigation around your house, property, etc. has to be definitely seen properly and dealt with properly, right? So apart from this, those of you who are employed, who are working, who are in the service sector, also need to be careful about the environment they work in, right? So what kind of environment you work in, what kind of colleagues you have, what is your behavior towards them. So all these soft skills, all these soft issues can come up and create issues. So that is something which you'll have to guard against. Apart from that, those of you who are dealing in, who do not have any visible opposition as such, and you deal with property matters, or you deal with real estate, vehicles, high value items, luxury items, etc., this could be a good time. For some of you, you may also look at spending money on luxury items, or basically big ticket items, right? So doing something around your house, spending a lot of money on renovation, or doing up your house, or buying a new vehicle, etc. So this could be the theme, especially with the festive season coming around in the second half of the month, right? Then we move on to the next sign of Gemini. So if you have a Gemini ascendant, a Gemini rising, then in such a case, this month sees Mercury in the sign of exaltation. Mercury is your ascendant ruler, is the planet which rules the sign of Gemini, and it is going to be in exaltation in the 4th house in the sign of Virgo. Good for studies, good for applying your intelligence, your memory, your skills around things which you want to tackle. Good for students, right? So when Mercury gets into exaltation, generally it is a great time for learning. It is a great time for managing things around you, using your wit, using your intelligence. Mercury is the planet of wit and intelligence also, right? So, and seeing the environment around you, adapting yourself to situations, that is a skill which Mercury has, right? So Mercury as such, as a planet, takes the effect of whosoever it's conjunct with, wherever it is sitting. So it doesn't have a nature of its own, so it takes the color, or it takes the flavor of whosoever is influencing it, right? So this is an excellent time if you want to use it productively. So a word of caution is, if you are a youngster, if you are in your formative years, or say you're a teenager, early 20s also for that matter, make sure that your company is good, you're not into wrong company, and you're using your time properly, right? So learn to manage yourself properly. Mercury gives you that opportunity. Use your communication skills effectively when it comes to your education, studies, etc. This could also be a great time to spend time with your mother, spend time at home. Some people would also like to make some drastic changes around their home also, right? So you may like to change the color of your walls, change the curtains, or make things different, go in for a different look altogether as well. Apart from this, we see in the second half, when Sun, Mercury, Mars and Ketu come together in the sign of Libra, which is your 5th house, we see a lot of energy here. There's also going to be an exchange for a while between Sun and Venus, where Venus is going to be in Leo and Sun is going to be in the sign of Libra. So there's an exchange also happening over here. So this shows a lot of movement when it comes to education, when it comes to learning, a lot of movement, a lot of travel. So short distance travels can happen with regard to education. So even if you are in the education sector, if you are a student yourself, some of you may be moving out of homes, all those things definitely come up. But this is a great time to suppress your ego and use your intelligence. Do not put your arrogance up whenever you're taking any decision. Do not speak with a lot of ego and arrogance. It is not going to serve you well, right? And it may cause conflicts with people around you, with your loved ones, with your partner. So if you're dating somebody, if you have a love interest, so there could be sparks flying there. There could be arguments and fights over there also because of ego hassles. So that is something which you have to avoid. Apart from this, those of you who are indulging in who are spending a lot of time in mantra sadhana or spiritual activities, etc., this could be a great time. This could also bring in a lot of shift in energy, right? So you may feel like doing more, you may feel like spending more time towards your sadhana, towards your meditation. This is also a period to take care of your relationship with your children, right? So any conflicts with children can arrive, or issues on regard with regard to your children can arise, which you'll need to sort out. Then moving on to the next sign of Cancer. So if you have a Cancer ascendant or a Cancer rising, this month we see Mercury in its sign of exaltation. Now Mercury is your third lord sign. It is the planet ruling over your communication also, right? So Mercury is sitting in its own sign in exaltation also most of the month. And then we have Sun there, and Sun moves out and goes to the fourth house also. Your fourth house sees a lot of concentration of planets, concentration of energy here. So this month you can use your communication skills, your power of influence, especially if you're in the social media, if you are an influencer, you are in journalism, writing, anything to do with public or with a lot of communication. This could be a significant month for you. You can influence people with your communication. You can influence people with the show of with the exhibiting your intelligence properly, right? So this is the good part about this month. Apart from that, the second half can be a little disturbing in terms of domestic harmony, in terms of the environment at home, not getting enough rest, running around quite a bit, not being able to spend time at home, or issues related to your mother's health, distance with your mother. So these kind of themes can play up. Some of you who anyways have any property matter going on, you're dealing with certain problems related to property, etc., could also see some significant changes this very month, right? So this is something which you have to watch out for, definitely. Apart from this, for some who are running a good dasha, as I mentioned always, the natal chart has to be seen, the dasha has to be seen. For some, this could also be a gain of property or a gain of a luxury vehicle, right? So a better vehicle. So I mean, if you were in this segment, you go to this. If you were in this, you go one notch higher. So somewhere, an upgrade to a better vehicle, I would say an upgrade to a better accommodation, or buying a new house or a new investment in land or property is definitely on the cards if the dasha is also favoring you, right? But if you have any endocrinal problems going on, right? So any hormonal issues, etc., then this month tells you to be more careful, because the third house, which rules over our endocrine system, the hormones, etc., has an exalted Mercury there. So while all these things are good, health could be a concern, right? So take care of your health. Any chronic issues, do address them fast. Then moving on to the next sign of Leo. So if you have a Leo rising or a Leo ascendant, then this month we see Venus in your Lagna, and we also see an exchange between the first and the third lord. That is, Venus is in the sign of Sun in your Lagna, and we have Sun in the second half. Sun moves into the third house, which is the sign of Libra. It's sign of debilitation, right? So we see Mercury in a state of exaltation in the second house also. So here I would say a lot of hard work, taking new initiatives, taking new responsibilities is definitely on the cards for the Leo native, for the Leo rising, right? So the third lord Venus being in the Lagna itself shows that a lot of hard work is indicated, a lot of running around, short journeys which unsettle you from home is definitely on the cards, right? Wealth wise, financial situation wise, this could be a good month. Mercury is in the state of exaltation. Mercury is also your 11th lord, so the house of gains is also ruled by the same Mercury. So money wise, this could be a good month. Inflow of cash or inflow of managing your wealth overall could be good, but running around will be there. All of this will come with a lot of hard work, with a lot of time away from home. And in the second half of the month, you may also see some difficult situations, right? So you take on responsibilities, but you find them difficult to carry on with. So those kind of things can come up. Some disputes with your neighbors or with your younger siblings, etc., can also be seen, so you'll have to be careful on that count as well. Apart from that, this month is overall looking good for you professionally, etc. It's just that because of your communication, there might be issues which flare up with people around you, as I said, siblings, neighbors, right? So this is something which you have to guard against, right? Then I move on to the next sign of Virgo. So if you have a Virgo ascendant or a Virgo rising, then you have Mercury in exaltation in the Lagna. The month begins with Sun and Mercury together, which is a good sign. So this gives rise to a good amount of confidence, good sense of self-worth. You feel confident, you feel more worthy, you do well at work. So all these things give good results, especially if your natal Mercury is also well placed. So good results, good first half, and especially with Venus also being in the 12th house, etc. So a lot of expenditures of some good kind also can be seen. So time out with family, moving out on vacations, some good expenditure, big expenditures, but good ones, not the undesirable ones, right? So those kind of things can be seen. As the month goes by, we see Ketu, Mars, Sun and Mercury coming together in the second house. So second house is the Vani Sthan, how you speak, house of speech. Kutumbasthan, house of family. Dhan Bhav, Dhan Sthan, house of money. So the first half though is good. The second half has to be dealt with a word of caution, right? So avoid any impulse, avoid any impulsive spending which may affect your joint finances, which may affect your family money, family wealth as such, right? Avoid getting into any arguments within the family, especially with your brothers or your father, so the male figures in the family especially. So here there are chances of conflict. So if you're someone who has a joint family business, or you deal with a lot of joint resources, then you have to be very careful. Do not take up any risky activities this month. Take care of your safety. All these planets are directly impacting your 8th house also, right? So second half has to be cautious in terms of health, in terms of your overall safety also. So do not be impulsive, do not drive rash, is what I mean to say. I don't mean to scare anybody though. So those kind of things have to be seen, right? Apart from that, work wise, this month seems to be good. A lot of you may look at an elevated status at workplace also. Then I move on to the next sign of Libra. So if you have a Libra ascendant, Libra rising, this month is, as I said in the beginning, this month is important for you. We anyways have Ketu in the Lagna, and Ketu is going to move out. So after 1.5 years, Ketu is going to move out of the first house for you, which to some people is going to give a lot of relief also. But that is going to happen by the end of the month, right? So apart from that, we see your Lagnesh, that is Venus, in the 11th house, in the house of gains. So the month starts on a good note. What you want to do materially, you do well. Money wise, you do well. And we also see, as the month progresses, we see Mercury in the state of exaltation in the 12th house. Mercury is the Bhagyesh also for you. So it's again a good planet for you, and it is in an exalted state in the 12th house. So you may like to spend, but spend on good things. You may like to travel. You may like to, go out, spend money on vacations, on leisure activities, on pleasure activities, etc. All that can be seen. Some of you who are looking at higher education may travel outside. So traveling is definitely on the cards, whether it's for education, whether it's for holidays, etc. So those kind of themes are also playing up, right? Apart from that, by the second half of the month, we'll see a concentrated energy. A lot of planets there in the sign of Libra, as I mentioned. So apart from Ketu, we'll also see Mars there. We'll see Sun coming into the sign of debilitation, that is Libra. Mercury will also join in later. So the second half can bring you a lot of activity, can bring in a lot of inputs for you to process. I've seen whenever the first house or the Lagna has an influx of lot of energy, sometimes it's a lot of influence which the person is in, right? So you've got to filter a lot of information, you've got to filter a lot of things which come out, prioritize better, manage yourself better, right? So that is something which is definitely required. Gains can come in, but apart from that, some amount of opposition. If you are facing any competition, if you're facing any legal suit, etc., this could be an eventful time, right? So these kind of themes can definitely play up. Make sure that you're thorough with your paperwork. Make sure that you're reading the situation properly before getting into anything, right? This month could change a lot of things for you. So whenever a luminary is crossing up your Lagna, that is the Sun, and now Ketu is also going to exit out. So a lot of things will get settled. So if you were in a state of worry or tensed about things, mentally very occupied, by the end of the month you'll see a lot of things taking shape towards a set direction, right? So things work well. Work wise, this seems to be a good month. A lot of traveling for people, definitely, right? Then I move on to the next sign of Scorpio. So for Scorpio, we see the Lagnesh, that is Mars, moving from the sign of Virgo, which is in your 11th house, into the 12th house this month, right? We also see Venus in the 10th house. Venus is going to be there in your 10th house for most of the month. Mercury is there, exalted Mercury is going to be there in your 11th house along with Sun, the first half. So the first half can give you a lot of focus on your work and your gains. So you may get recognition also for the kind of work which you have been doing. Good relationship with your superiors, good relationships at work, good opportunities come up, new opportunities can come up. So the first half is definitely something which you have to look out for, which you need to use and avail the opportunities which come to you in the first half of the month. A lot of gains from networking, etc. So people whom you meet can prove to be of help. Networking around, especially if you have any say female bosses or female friends, etc. So some feminine energy around you can definitely prove to be of help. So overall seems to be a good month, but the second half is where a lot of concentration, as I said, of planets is going to be there in your 12th house. So that is something which you have to watch out for. When there are too many planets in the 12th house, this can make you think a lot or make you ponder over a lot of things also. The 12th house is of a rest, of sleep. So sometimes a lot of issues can come up. Your sleep patterns can get disturbed. Your travel plans can sometimes just get disrupted just like that because of some unforeseen circumstances, right? So your sleep can get disturbed. You may make expenditures. Now when I talk about expenditure, it's not only the money expenditure, expense of money, it could be expense of time, expense of energy. So you may choose to spend a lot of time on a particular thing, right? Now depends, you may spend it on a hobby, you may spend it on on anything which is not good for you. It could be any addiction, it could be any vices, right? So here that is something which you have to watch out for, right? Second half is something which you definitely need to watch out for. For those who want to use it positively, this is a great time to spend time alone, praying, going away to a retreat, spending time alone, taking a break from your routine, right? So all these things, all this negative energy can be handled also properly if you do the things, if you do the positive, take up the positive things of the house. So spend time away, spend time in good company, away from home, do some service, be of use to somebody, so do some selfless service. These kind of things can definitely be done to take away the negativity also. Move on to the next sign of Sagittarius. So for Sagittarius, Jupiter, which is your Lagnesh, is in the 5th house, currently retrograde. We also see Venus in the other trine, in the sign of Leo. We in the second half of the month, we see a lot of planets going into the sign of Libra, but in the first half we see Sun, Mercury together in the sign of Virgo. Mercury is a very important planet for you. Mercury is the planet ruling the 7th house for you, the 10th house. So your business, your work, your partnerships, very many important areas are covered by Mercury. And Mercury is in a sign of exaltation right now, in its own sign of exaltation, right? So you have to use your intelligence, use your skills, use your managerial skills to get ahead. This is a great time where a lot of limelight can be there on you, where you get good work opportunities, new projects, etc. So make use of those opportunities. Your communication skills are going to be effective, which are going to come in handy, which may influence people around you, which may influence the people who really matter at work, right? So that is something which is definitely on the cards. The married life can also be, kind of, if you were going through a rough patch, things can get settled in, right? Keep your ego out of things. That is again very important. And apart from that, the second half sees a lot of planets in the sign of Libra. So you have Ketu. Ketu is spending its last month in the sign of Libra. We have Mars moving in there. We have Sun moving into Libra along with Mercury. So a lot of planets are going to come together in your 11th house. Time to filter in the kind of people who are coming into your lives, the kind of information which is coming in, the kind of networks which you're going in. So there could be some change here. Some old relationships can die down and some new relationships can form up. So see whom you mingle with. A lot of professional networks you may get into. So this is a time to network, to collaborate, and be effective in the social circles also, right? The relationships with your elder siblings, etc., can be impacted. So avoid any anger coming in between you. That is definitely something which I would tell you to guard against, right? Apart from this, seems to be an overall good month for the Sagittarius ascendant. Then I move on to the next sign of Capricorn. So for Capricorn, if you're a Capricorn ascendant, Capricorn rising, Saturn is anyways retrograde. Saturn is your Lagnesh. It's in the second house. Then we have, a lot of movement happening from the sign of Virgo to the sign of Libra. So we have Sun and Mercury together in the sign of Virgo right now, which is your 9th house, which is the luck house, which is the house of Bhagya or the house of fortune for you. So we have an exalted Mercury out there, which is again a good sign, good for people who are looking at educational pursuits if you're in that phase of life. Good for your luck to favor you overall, right? So if you have been working hard for a long time, now is the time when the luck starts putting in its own bit, right? So now is the time to wait and watch and reap the results also, provided the dasha is also supporting you, right? We have Venus in your 8th house. Venus is sitting there. Venus is a yoga karak planet for you, but it is sitting in the 8th house, and it is in a inimical sign also, right? So any issues related to reproductive organs, etc., that is something which you have to guard against. Any infections, sometimes people face issues related to UTIs, etc., so that is something which you have to guard against, right? So Venus, while Venus is in transit in the 8th house in an inimical sign, right? Apart from that, in the second half of the month, we will have a lot of influx of energy in the 10th house of Libra for you, right? Libra falls in your 10th house, and we'll have Ketu, which is anyways there. We have Mars, we have Mercury. Sun will move out of the 9th house into the 10th house. So events at workplace, a lot of important things can happen and can churn at the workplace, right? So some of you may look at a new job opportunities. Some of you who were not employed till now may get a good break. There can be changes. Either your boss can change, your higher authority can change, or there will be a change in the relationship you have with your superiors at work. That is definitely on the cards, right? So a lot of karakas of the 10th house are also going to be there. Mercury is going to be there, Sun is going to be there. So a lot of influence on the 10th house itself. So the focus is going to be work, the focus is going to be new opportunities, the outside world, and in this whole thing your domestic life may get ignored. So the peace at home may be a little disturbed, or you may not spend enough time at home because you are out there seeking a lot of opportunities at work. So this is a time to work hard, to make your mark and grab the opportunities which come your way, right? So that was about the Capricorn ascendant. Moving on to the next ascendant of Aquarius. So if you have an Aquarius ascendant or an Aquarius Lagna, we have Saturn, your Lagnesh, sitting in the Lagna itself in retrograde motion, and it's going to be in retrogression till the 4th of November. So one more month, the entire month of October is going to be retrograde. Then we have Venus in your 7th house. We have Sun and Mercury together in the first half of the month in your 8th house. Mercury is exalted over there. Then we have the influx of planets, that is Ketu, getting conjunct with Mars, Sun and Mercury, etc. 4 planets coming together in your 9th house in the second half, right? So here in the beginning, it is a great time for those who are into any kind of research, any kind of deep studies, philosophical studies, astrology, etc., where deep research or deep studies are required. It is a great time. Not a very great time for people who are looking at conceiving, right? So the first half can be a little risky, or if you're undergoing some treatment for the same, the first half can be a little risky for you. But as we go into the second half, a lot of shift in energy can come in. So if you are someone who's looking at higher education pursuits, who's looking at conception, etc., then a lot of things can change for you in the second half. Some new intervention may come in. Your 9th house of luck is getting activated, so some new things can come in if your birth chart is also promising it. Stroke of luck helps you out. If you're looking at new educational pursuits, college of your choice, going out, studying something of your own choice, etc., then again, your luck can favor you out. Your father can support you. So a lot of support from your father, from your brother, etc., can come in, and you may get a lot of help. So 9th house energy is going to be activated. It is very important for the Aquarius ascendant to pray to their Ishtadev, to pray, to believe in the divine force which is running the whole universe, and surrender yourself. Spend time in prayers, spend time in good company, seek good guidance, seek the help of your guru in tiding over life's matters, in tiding over problems, right? So a very important month, because this month is actually touching upon the 9th house, which is a very important house in a horoscope. A lot of influx of energy. 9th house is a trinal house, is a trikon bhav. And whatever sits in the 9th house supports the Lagna. So some temporary support is definitely going to come to you, right? So make sure that you're doing the right deeds and you're keeping yourself on the right direction to seek the blessings which may come your way, to seek, look out for positivity. Things may change for the better for you also, right? A lot of travel may be on the cards. A lot of movement may be on the cards. For some of you, it will also bring in relocation, shifting out of your current home, right? So do make use of this planetary energy, of this influx, and take care of yourself. Then I move on to the next sign of Pisces. So if you are a Pisces ascendant, Pisces rising, this month we see your 7th house being activated. As of now, we have Sun and Mercury together in the 7th house, in the sign of Virgo, where Mercury is exalted. We have Venus in the sign of Leo in the 6th house. And in the 8th house, we'll see an influx of a lot of planets, of 4 planets coming together. So there's going to be a lot of focus on the 6th, 7th and 8th houses for you, right? So here, this is something, a lot of your time and energy will go with dealing with the outer world, dealing with relationship issues, dealing with contracts, dealing with agreements, and you may do well in this as well. Mercury is exalted Mercury rules the 4th house for you also, and the first half will bring in something good, provided you have laid a better foundation earlier. So your contracts, your paperwork, all these things can be really of importance to you this entire month. You may do well here. You may sign new contracts, you may sign into new partnerships, etc. as well. Marriage relationship wise, you may suffer a bit, because if you're already going through a bad time, then this may not be a great month with so much of concentration of energy in these 7th and 8th houses. So your relationship with your spouse may suffer a bit, may take a hit. So take care of your spouse, take care of your relationship with them. And in the second half of the month, we see, as I mentioned, so much of influx of energy in the 8th house. This brings out a lot of malefic impact also, because the 8th house is a malefic house, and so many planets getting together over there. There may be issues with regard to joint resources. Money matters may come between you and your partner. So money issues can create a problem. There could be a challenge, with respect to your relationship with your spouse's family, with your in-laws, etc. Joint finances, as I mentioned, are definitely a source of trouble or source of conflict. Right? If you are in a joint family business, then also there could be chances of some conflict arising out of money. If you have any chronic issues, chronic health issues, then you've got to be extra careful this month. Right? So take care of your health, take care of your health issues, get your medical checks done on time. There could be expenditure on a lot of medical issues. So medical bills could be high. So this is overall a month where you have to be cautious, careful with regard to your health and with regard to your partner and partner's money. Right? That is something which definitely has to be seen. But for those of you who are in the research business, who are doing some research, you're doing your PhDs, etc. You are into oil and gas, insurance, banking, all these sectors. There may be a lot of significant changes coming in the second half of the month, with so many planets sitting here and aspecting the second house also, where we also have Jupiter. Jupiter is again a planet of finance. Right? So for these matters, especially if you're employed in these sectors, this may prove to be a turning month for you. Yeah, so that was all about all the 12 signs. I'll meet you very soon in my next video. Till then, keep watching, and in case you haven't subscribed, do remember to hit the subscribe button. Right? Take care. Bye bye.